This is my last monologue until Nations League break. I just want to give one final Sunday morning sermon for the season. Because after Nations League break, it's just going to be Decision Day, which is a Saturday. But before I get into the message, the main message, there's a team that I have to talk about, and I have to give credit where credit is due. The few of you who have been following me the past couple of months, you know when I make a statement or a hot take or a prediction about a team, and if that team proves me wrong to make me look like the fool, I usually eat those words and admit that I'm wrong. It looks like there's going to be a team that's going to force me to eat my words. Earlier this season, after the Club World Cup, earlier this year, I said that the Seattle Sounders championship window was closed. I said end of an era. Time to tear down this roster, bring in some high price popular players. It looks like the Seattle Sounders are going to be just fine, because it looks like the Sounders are getting ready to clinch a playoff spot. Most likely it won't be this month. It'll most likely be sometime next month if they continue to play the way that they're playing. And if the Seattle Sounders clinches a playoff spot, that means the championship window has never closed. I repeat, if the Seattle Sounders clinches a playoff spot, that means their playoff window never closed. Why? Well, even though they didn't make MLS Cup playoff last season, they were saved by participating in the Club World Cup. So their participation in the Club World Cup, which is a playoff within itself, it kept that championship window open because they're still in pursuit of a title. So yes, they got eliminated, but then they returned to MLS regular season play. They didn't perform well in the US Open Cup. They didn't perform well in Leagues Cup, but they're performing well in MLS regular season. And if the Sounders can win the rest of their matches this season, and some teams that's ahead of them in the Supporter Shield standings lose some matches, the Sounders could have a spot clinch for the CCC. But remember, they're going to need some help for that. The Sounders' chances of making the CCC realistically is by winning the MLS Cup title. But I'm not going to get too much into that. All I'm saying is, if the Seattle Sounders clinches a playoff spot, their championship window has never closed, and they have made me look like a fool. And if the Seattle Sounders makes me look like a fool, when I return in October, I will definitely dedicate a monologue to admit I was wrong. And I am going to eat those words. The championship window is still open. I said it closed after they lost to the Egyptians in the Club World Cup. But the Seattle Sounders said, hell no. We're not going out like that. And I think one thing that added fuel to their fire was the amount of MLS fans that were making fun of them for losing to the Egyptians in the Club World Cup. And that anger that they had it looked like it's been carrying them through this regular season. And if that's the case, I hope they keep that anger. Because the Seattle Sounders play really, really good when they're the villain. When the Seattle Sounders are not the villain, when they feel like they're loved by everybody in the nation, they get a little too relaxed. They get a little too complacent. I said it last year. And I'm going to talk about it again if the Sounders make the playoffs. Seattle Sounders, you got to be the bad guy. Because a lot of people don't respect you. They envy you. They're jealous of you. And that's all I have to say about the Sounders. Sunday Night Soccer. Austin. LA Galaxy. Both of you are below the playoff line. It looks like Austin is tapping out. It looks like they're getting ready to call it a season. But for you, LA Galaxy, you still look like you have some fight in you. Now, this is not to say that Austin is not going to compete tonight in Sunday Night Soccer. It's just based on their past performances. Teams that they know they could have beaten, but they didn't. So from the outside looking in, it looks like they're tapping out. But they can prove a lot of us wrong based on how they performed tonight against LA Galaxy. Sunday Night Soccer. MLS Matchday 34. The title of this message is Surviving Through a Storm. Both of you have been through the storm this entire season. Argument with fans, protestings, popular players leaving. It's been a storm for both of you. You know, arguments with the coaches, disagreement with the coaches, disagreement with each other and the players. Austin and LA Galaxy. This is one thing I want you to know. When you go through a storm, don't let that storm define who you are. Meaning, when you are going through bad times, when you're going through hard times, rough moments in life, don't allow those bad moments to define who you are. LA Galaxy, I've been telling you all season long, when you make a mistake, you don't put your head down in embarrassment, but you keep your head up. Because we all make mistakes. The defining moment is, how do you respond to that mistake? What is your next course of action after you make that mistake? Are you going to continue to feel sad and sorry for yourself? Or are you going to quickly find solutions to that mistake so you won't continue to repeat that same mistake? Because when you continue to repeat that same mistake, then it turns into bad habits. Think about in life, for example. Let's say you're a college student and you continue to fail a test. You continue to make bad grades in a certain class, or you're just struggling in a certain major. Are you going to continue to accept failing? Or are you going to find ways to improve yourself? Maybe you need to change your major. Maybe being an engineer or physical science, maybe that's not for you. Maybe you need to study health, pharmaceuticals. Don't let your failures define who you are. The best way to survive through a storm is finding the solution. When you're walking in the middle of a storm, what is the solution to prevent you from getting wet? LA Galaxy in Austin. What is that umbrella of success that you need to find? What is that umbrella that is going to propel you above the elimination line, the disqualified line? What is that umbrella that is going to get you into the wild card? Because to be honest with you, if one of y'all win, you're in it. You're right there at the wild card line. You're close to the wild card line. All you need to do is win every game for the rest of this season. So Austin, LA Galaxy, what is that umbrella of success that is going to propel you into the wild card? It's up to you to find that umbrella that will guide you through the storm and that will cause you to take flight into the wild card. Austin, LA Galaxy, find your umbrella of success that will propel you to the wild card. Find that out tonight. Sunday Night Soccer. Matchday 34.